The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello, everyone. Hey now, what is going on? And welcome. I'll be dang, I'm getting a phone call right at the wrong time, but we'll have to tell Alan Hilliard he'll need to call us back. But anyway, hey, welcome everybody to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network. I'm Guy Newcomb, the host, also known as the Scoreboard Guy. Certainly glad that you tuned in wherever you may be. A lot of you may be driving home from work. You may be driving to a ball game. There are a few games going on this evening. We'll run down the scores from last night. We'll be visiting with some coaches throughout the show. Expected up here in just a few minutes is Mexico boys basketball coach Darren Pappas, as they're off to a really good start, not unsuspected there. And later on in the show, we'll hear from Forsyth head basketball coach Kevin Smith. And then at 6:25, Bowling Green head boys coach Craig Smith. 6:35, the Norwood boys coach Shane Chadwell. And then at 6:45, we'll start our women's side of the show. We'll visit with Laquey girls basketball coach Michael Parton. And at 6:55, Palmyra head girls coach Timothy Southers will join us. And at 7:05 to wrap up the show, Licking girls basketball coach Steve Rissler, coming off of winning the Frisco League tournament. Anyway, we're coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. Pizza Ranch was down there today for the very first ladies version of the Tip-Off Club. Springfield Area Tip-Off Club not hosted a women's basketball version of that. We did today. We were blessed to be joined by Marshfield head coach Katie Pritchard, Nixa head coach Jennifer Perryman, and the Fairgrove head coach Jenny Talbert, and BBC's new head coach, kind enough to join us, Maddie Wallers, or Wallace. I'll get it right. Maddie Johnson. And I talked to her before. I said, listen, you're, a kid that I covered in high school. She was a standout player at Ash Grove High School and was an assistant coach at Central for a while, and then gets the head job there at BBC, and they're off to a 4-8 start. And hopefully we'll get those interviews done and downloaded here later on this evening. You want to be part of the show? You can link to the stream, and it's probably up on Facebook Live at Missouri Sports Network, also at Scoreboard Guy on Twitter. But let us know you're listening, and you've got questions or comments that you would like to have entered into the show or into the conversation. Like I said, we mentioned the coaches that are coming up here, and we'll get right to the scoreboard here from last night here on the Missouri Sports Network scoreboard. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks High School basketball scoreboard for 12-6-22, presented by Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, Central Bank, Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Burgess and Associates, and the Bank of Billings. And just like that, we've got Mexico basketball coach. We welcome to the show now the Mexico head basketball coach, Darren Pappas. And Coach Pappas, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me come on tonight.
Coach, you're off to a good start. You're 4-1 right now. Finished second in the Montgomery tournament. Tell us a little bit about your team and how you feel like you're playing right now early in the season.
I feel like we're still pretty young. We only returned 6 from last year's team. We got a lot of new faces. Got some freshmen that are in the mix, some sophomores, and some juniors that have never had some varsity experience. So I feel like we're not a very veteran ball club, but we're playing pretty good basketball. Defensively, we had just one mishap against a really good Fulton team in that championship game of the Montgomery County tournament. But other than that, I feel like we're playing pretty good basketball. Still trying to fine-tune some things on both ends of the floor this early in the season.
Well, you bounced back nicely a night ago as you defeat Marshall 73-32 in that contest. What are some things right now early in the season, 5 games in, that you feel like you're doing well? And what are some things maybe that you feel like you need to work on as a head coach?
I feel like right now we're shooting the ball pretty well from the perimeter. We got a little bit more scoring depth from the perimeter this year than what we had in past years. I feel like defensively we're doing a pretty good job of trying to keep the ball out of the paint as much as possible. And then, I think things that we need to work on is definitely when we go to the charity stripe, make sure we knock down those free throws and try to keep teams off the boards as much as possible and get out and run. That's what we like to do. We like to get out and transition and run. And when we do that, we're at our best.
You've got your next 3 games. You got Stratford, and that's a 10 a.m. game. And then you've got Kirksville and that at Hannibal. What do you know about your next 3 opponents?
Well, Stratford's an extremely talented ball club. They bring back a lot of really good players from last year's team. It's going to be a really good test for our ball club in that game on Saturday down there in Springfield. And then we open up our home opener here on Tuesday against Kirksville, another very talented team, one that we feel like is in the mix for the NCMC, our conference that we play in. And then we play at Hannibal, another NCMC matchup. So we got a really good Stratford team and then 2 conference games back-to-back and finally get to open up here at home on Tuesday of next week.
Hey, Coach, tell us a little bit about your conference for those of us like myself who are geographically challenged.
So we're up here in the Northeast region. We are, Fulton, Moberly, Kirksville, Marshall, stretch all the way up to Hannibal as well. Those are the teams in our conference. So it's a really tough conference. You got to make sure you play every single night because anybody can beat up on anybody. We got some really good coaches that do their homework and come up with some really good game plans. So it's definitely not an easy task to play in the NCMC. You get a home and away game against those teams. And you definitely have to be prepared to play every single night.
As you look at that Class 4, District 8, tell us a little bit about that. I see Kirksville in there, but not a lot of conference teams in that district.
No, it's the same district that we had last year. Us, Moberly, and Kirksville are the only ones that are in that district that are our conference teams. And then you had Macon in there, who's a really talented ball club that we've faced against last year in the district championship game. They returned all 4 of their 5 starters, so they're off to a hot start right now. Kirksville, obviously, we've already talked about. Moberly has a new coach, but they're playing really good basketball. And then Hallsville's in there as well, Centralia, and us. So it's a extremely talented district. It won't be easy by no means. Especially when you get to that time of the year, you hope you're playing your best basketball.
You look at that conference, and right now, that district, and right now you look at it, nobody has a losing record in that district.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like I said, it's a very tough district. It'll be interesting when we get to that time frame to seed that district, to see where everybody falls and where the pieces fall in that district, to see who matches up against who. It will be at Moberly High School, so a different site than the girls district of the same class and district number. So it'll be fun times when we get to that end of February when we're approaching that district time.
Very good. Well, Coach Pappas, as always, we greatly appreciate you. I know you're coming out of practice. You've had a busy week already, but always appreciate you being generous with your time, and we hope we can visit with you later on down the road.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for all the coverage and everything you guys do for the game of basketball around the state of Missouri.
Hey, you bet. Couldn't do without you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. Thank you. Coach Darren Pappas, they're kind enough to join us in that district as you look at it. That Class 4 District 8, Centralia 2-1, Hallsville 2-1, Kirksville 2-1, Macon 3-0, Mexico 4-1, and Moberly just 1-1 on the season. And a lot of folks, and that may not be accurate. Some folks have not really put up their games yet to this point. It doesn't, in basketball, it's not as important as it is in football. Plus the fact that you're playing 3 and 4 times a week in basketball, where in football you've got the the multiplier that you have to deal with. So or not multiplier, the formula with regards that sets up your district. So it's always fun to try and track down high school basketball scores. But I tell you right now, we had more than anyone else in the state this morning. We posted it, and we've been doing a really good job of getting probably 90% of the scores up on the pages. And a lot of work goes into that. Ends very late at night, starts very early in the morning, trying to get all that stuff up and get a morning update out by 8 o'clock in the morning so coaches can go in and either listen to the scoreboard or they can read it, depending on what you are inclined to do. And we will continue with those scores. Here on the girls' side, last night, Appleton City over Kingsville, 53-21. Meadville defeats Atlanta, 83-16. Dora over Bradleyville, 74-46. South Iron defeats Ellington. And two very good teams right there, historically good teams on the girls' side and the boys' side, really, in South Iron's case, back-to-back state championships. Thomas Jefferson over Everton, back to girls' scores, 53-18. Hardin Central, 55-8 over Southwest Livingston. Leeton defeats Lakeland 62-23. Lutheran Kansas City 38. Midway 27. Community R6 over Madison 53-11. Mercer defeats Green City 35-16. I'm sorry, 56-35. I've read two scores together. 56-35 Mercer over Green City. Portageville 58, Southland 45. Scott City Central 70, South Pemiscot 38. Gilman City over Union Star 67-47. Central Bank of the Ozarks, strong roots, endless possibilities. Our studio sponsor, along with the Pizza Ranch. Bishop LeBlond 56, St. Joe Christian 37, continuing with the girls' scores. Skyline 53, Morrisville 39. Brookfield over Milan 43-40. Sherwood over Butler 65-46. Colcamp defeats Knobnoster 53-42. Harrisonville over Adrian 37-20. Herman defeats Blair Oaks 44-41. Carthage over Lamar 64-30. Eureka defeats Westminster Christian 56-41. Cashville over Mount Vernon 44-39. Nevada defeats Pittsburgh, Kansas 60-41. Odessa over Excelsior Springs 40-33. Battle defeats Rockbridge 57-56. Blue Springs South over Lee Summit West 46-39. Truman defeats North Kansas City 55-21. Again, these are girls' scores from last night. Clayton over Kirkwood 40-35. Timberland defeats Fort Zumwalt North 54-30. Licking over Owensville 39-37. And hopefully we'll be talking with Licking head coach Steve Risler towards the end of the show tonight. Oakville over Parkway West 55-52. Nerix Hall 49, MICDS 38. Parkway South over Lafayette 58-35. California defeats Montgomery County 51-41. Jefferson over Valley Park 65-29. Let me check the chat here. You can chat with us right on Facebook or right on Twitter. Nerix Hall over MICDS 49-38. Parkway South over Lafayette 58-35. Jefferson over Valley Park 65-29. California defeats Montgomery County 51-41. It was Jefferson over Valley Park. I already read that. Warrenton over St. Charles 56-41. Fort Zumwalt East over Francis Howe 51-42. Ursuline over Bayless 78-10. Fort Zumwalt South over Liberty Wentzville 58-17. Summit defeats Fox 50-27, and Live for Life over Orchard Farm 61-48. Ellsbury over Deshane 41-33. And we are joined now by Forsyth head basketball coach Kevin Smith. Coach Smith, thanks so much for your time today.
You bet. Glad I could be here.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your team up to this point. Off to a great start.
Yeah, we're off to a good start. We've won our own tournament, and then we picked up a couple other wins along the way. We're just trying to still figure out how I want to rotate, do a couple things because we got a lot of pieces, and I'm really kind of excited about what we could be. So hopefully we can keep putting it together.
Coach, go back to that in the 62nd annual Forsyth tournament, that championship game with Hollister. Hollister's only loss on the season, a 4-point game. Tell us a little bit about down the stretch in that contest.
It was a good game, and it's a good heated rivalry. Good close proximity to Forsyth, so we knew it'd be a good game. We kind of jumped on them early, and then we kind of didn't do some things right. I put something in different, and we kind of were ready for it, but didn't have it all in like we wanted to. And it kind of bothered Hollister, but we didn't do the back end of it on the glass. So, but I thought it was a good game, and we knew we had to take away Garrett Snyder and how we shadowed him. So overall, it's just a good rivalry game, and I'm sure it'll be good next time we play also.
Hey, members of the Class 4 District 11, tell us a little bit about that district and what you know about it and how many of your conference teams are in it.
Of course, right off the bat, our district is just really been us out of our conference play. But, Rogersville's in it, Hollister's in it. Those guys will be at the forefront of everything, along with, we have Willow Springs and Mountain Grove. Those will be some good heated contests also. So I'm just telling you that it'll be good top to bottom Class 4 district for us, and hopefully we're in the hunt of it.
Hey, Coach, talk a little bit about some of the kids that you've got coming back and what you had to replace off last year's team.
We had to replace Gage Blevins. His brother Ryder still plays for us. Gage was a good shooter, and the first year always is the hardest year. I've always felt like whenever I have to change jobs, thinking how I want to do stuff, and even just knowing how to do drills and how I want to be competitive. So the first year's the roughest one, but we had so many returners. We got a good core. We got 5 guys, 6 guys that were back from last year's team that know how to play and know what I want. So the second year is so much smoother, and that it's just not a blending between the coach and the relationship with the players. It really matters.
Coach, you've got a matchup coming up versus Venus High School. I don't know a lot about them. Kind of tell us a little bit about that matchup.
I knew I put in with Brian McTakes, an old friend from the Ozark Conference when I was in West Plains. I needed a game at that time frame, and he said, "Hey, you want to play?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." And "Hey, you want to play Venus, Texas?" I said, "I don't have no clue who that is." He said, "We're going to play him the second night after you play, so I get an idea what to do." I said, "That's fantastic." So I get to be the guinea pig first, but I think they play a really good schedule. From what it's hard to judge when they're a suburb of Dallas. Hard to judge that far away. So from what the films that I started to get into, they're really athletic. There'll be a matchup problem, athleticism for us, but I just also think that we're going to be a problem matching up wise for the two. It'll be a great competitive, spirited game. I hopefully prepared them enough in the summer and also in the preseason for this type of venue. So they look like they have great athletes, and I look forward just to the challenge, and glad we got invited to those shootout for this venue.
You bet. Well, Coach Smith, we certainly appreciate you being part of the show, and hopefully we'll get to visit with you later on down the season. And with us new equipment here, we can just take phone calls. It's tremendous, easier on me. Plus, I don't have to put my face on the picture. On the website or the show, so I get to sit here and wear my ball cap and not have to have a suit and tie on. But Coach, thanks so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Thanks, Coach. Talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
Kevin Smith there at head coach at Forsyth, and folks know him. He was at West Plains for a while. He was also at Crane for a while. Does a tremendous job. He's done a tremendous job everywhere that he has gone, and as expected, they're off to a tremendous start. And a Hollister team that's very good. They beat them by 4 points, 45-41. They beat Reed Spring last night rather handily. Might have to run down on Friday night and check out that Venus, Texas school, and check out the Ozark Mountain Shootout. And that's has always been a tremendous deal ever since Brian McTagg, the head coach at Glendale, brought it. He started it, I believe, at Clever, and then took it down to Branson when he was the head coach there, and he's kind of brought it back and got it going there at Glendale High School, and always a tremendous field there. So you want to see some great basketball, head on over to Glendale this week, and we'll try and get an interview set up with Coach McTagg here in the next couple of days and let him kind of feature that tournament as well. Certainly glad you have tuned in. We're going to take a quick timeout. We come back. We'll be visiting with Bowling Green head boys basketball coach Craig Smith after these messages from the Missouri Sports Network.
I believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
Enjoy a fresh start to your meal at Pizza Ranch, where the salad bar is always included with your buffet. Every day you'll find garden fresh greens, colorful veggies, and sides for every appetite. It's the most refreshing way to balance out a meal while leaving plenty of room for your other buffet favorites. Convenient, fast, and fresh. It's the Pizza Ranch Salad Bar. Mmm.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on a Wednesday night. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside and coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio and presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, LiUNA, Labor's Local 663, Building Missouri, and Building Missouri State. Also presented by Doak Propane and the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County, with locations in Billings and Marionville to better serve your banking needs. Continuing with the girls' scores from last night, it was Kabul over Couch, 77-33. Nixa defeats Marshfield 58-48. And both Nixa and Marshfield participated today in the very first Springfield area tip-off club on the ladies' side. Coach Perryman and Coach Pritchard were both there today. But a good contest there, 58-48. Aurora gives Hans Bolivar their first loss of the season, 47-43. Laquey over Niangua, 54-19. Cairo defeats West Strand, 62-28. And it was Jefferson City over Rolla, 39-38. Stover defeats Russellville, 52-35. Fairgrove over Miller, 53-30. Golden City defeats Drexel, 59-38. Again, these are girl scores from last night. It was Greenfield over Liberal, 58-41. And we welcome to the show now the Bowling Green head basketball coach, Coach Craig Smith. Coach Smith, thanks so much for your time today.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate the coverage and having me on.
You bet, Coach. Coach, you guys off to a 1-3 start, but your football team went way into the season. Plus, you played in a very tough tournament there at Montgomery County. But talk a little bit about the season that's gone thus far, and are the football guys getting in basketball shape yet?
Yeah, our football team had a great run. They lost to Blair Oaks, who were the eventual state champions. So we literally had 0 practices with our football guys, and even some of the football guys as well didn't play because they wanted to get some rest, for their body and stuff. So we've had 2 practices this week with all the football guys here. Montgomery County is a great tournament, great early season tournament. You get 3 games against some pretty good competition, against some teams you wouldn't normally see during the year, like Mexico, Fulton, and stuff like that. So I was pretty proud of the guys. We ended up losing the consolation game pretty close with only 7 guys. We really just played 7 guys all week because of the football players that were gone. But yeah, we played last night against Fort Zumwalt East and got down big, ended up coming back, and we had a shot at the end to win it, but we ended up losing by 4. So I'm really proud of the guys and things they're doing, and we're trying to get everybody settled into their roles and trying to get them in, like you said, basketball shape as we go into next week, getting a couple conference games against Louisiana and Mark Twain.
Again, we're visiting with Bowling Green head boys basketball coach Craig Smith, and just for the listeners, kind of tell us a little bit about your conference and handicap it just a bit.
Yeah, we're in the Eastern Missouri Conference with schools like Montgomery County, Siletz, Clopton, Wellsville, Van Far, Mark Twain. We go down towards the city with Wright City. The EMO, I played in the EMO. I graduated from Clopton. It's always been a tough conference to play in on the road. So you really got to, some of the gyms we go in are pretty small and not so friendly confines. And so you really got to be ready to play when you go on the road in the EMO. Of course, we're one of the bigger schools. We're a Class 4 school, one of the smaller Class 4 schools, but we should be somewhere near the top, I believe. Montgomery, Ellsbury actually won it last year, and they have all their guys back, so I'd imagine they would be near the top as well. But we can get our players, playing the right way and getting them in shape and getting them back from football. I think we got a good chance to be right there near the top.
Hey, Coach, kind of tell the viewers, the listeners, I guess, so to speak, what you had to replace off of last year's squad, just due to graduation, and who are some of the guys that are stepping in and filling some of those roles?
Yeah, we had a heavy senior class, a lot of good athletes. Here the past couple of years, we've had a lot of football players who are really good athletes that played multiple sports, so they played basketball as well. But guys like Gunnar Bryant, who was all district, probably possibly all state this year at the tight end position and linebacker. He's our double guy. He's been a starter since his sophomore year. So we're really looking for some big things for him and really take that step forward. We got Jackson Charlton, who played some minutes last year. Brandon Gam was our point guard. Nate Crumwitty, and then last year Marcus Starks. He was an all-state running back for football. He kind of stepped away from basketball, but he's back this year. And he's really settling in nice with the guys. Got a really good junior class coming in. This junior class with these freshmen and sophomores, they were 27-8 in their last 2 years, 18-6 last year. We got Gunner's brother, Blaine Bryant, who as well could be an all-state football player this year. And we got a couple of nice shooters in Drew Dalton and Neil Rainey. And then we got a backup point guard in Zach Gibson. And we got a defensive specialist along with Blaine and Walker Chandler. And we've also got a sophomore who got some minutes last year as a freshman on the varsity level in Jace Eskew, who's a tall, long, athletic guard who's been leading us here in scoring the past couple of games. He's averaging about right around 10, 11 points a game. So we're really deep and athletic. Out of those 12 guys I mentioned, I could probably put any 5 of them on the floor at a time, not lose much in athleticism. We're really looking forward to seeing what we can do and see what kind of success we can have in this year with basketball, and hopefully the success we had in football kind of bleeds over into basketball.
Again, we're visiting with Bowling Green head boys basketball coach Craig Smith. And Coach, with the rule changes as far as the number of games and how you can set that up that you can play, did your schedule change at all this year with regards to tournaments and regular season games?
No, not much. We're past couple of years. We've only been in the 2 tournaments. We host our own tournament late January, and then we're in the Montgomery tournament. We end up years ago. I think they used to be in the Palmyra tournament. They ended up getting out of it because it was back to back with the Bowling Green tournament, and we wanted to have success in ours there to kind of prepare. But no, our schedule is pretty much the same. I mean, we're playing a Class 4, Class 5 schedule, except for the teams that are in our conference. But we will play teams like Mexico and Centralia. We played Fort Zumwalt East last night. We play Lutheran St. Charles, who is also in our district. And then, of course, host our own tournament, go to Montgomery, and then we've got our conference schedule, where we go on the road to some of those EMO teams. So we play a top of the line schedule to try to prepare our kids for the EMO, but also because we are in Class 4 to be able to set us up when it comes to district time.
And tell us a little bit about the teams in your district. Where will it be held, if that's been decided yet, and what are some of the teams in it?
Yeah, I don't know yet who would be in it, but we'll have Winfield and Wright City. I would imagine it's probably going to go towards Winfield because we have teams like Orchard Farm, St. Charles West, teams like that are kind of from the city there. I know in years past when they've been in this, it's usually Winfield, or last year I do believe we were kind of the same district. We went to St. Charles West down that way, and Orchard Farm and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a tough district, kind of spread out, but it does have some teams that you normally don't see during the year. So it's going to be a good test for us. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being part of this is our first basketball show here at the Missouri Sports Network, and we
first one for you. First one for the whole show, huh?
It's our first basketball scoreboard show at the Missouri Sports Network.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And so we've been operating now. We're about 16 months into it, and just went over 7 million hits, and thought, hey, we probably need to do a show like we did for football. And I thought Wednesday nights at this time would be easier because coaches aren't on buses, and
right.
We've got the equipment now where they can call in. So I greatly appreciate you being part of it, and hopefully we can visit again down the road.
Yeah, no problem. It was an honor. Yeah, definitely. Anytime. Like I said, we appreciate the coverage and everything. Thank you from all the athletes, not only just us, but also around the state. It's really good to promote young kids that are good kids and people that are going to go on and lead us later on.
Well, and I couldn't do it without coaches that want to be a part of it and send us the information. And it's, I was at we host a tip-off club at Pizza Ranches across the state, and I was at the tip-off club Monday, and Jay Osborne was part of it. Of course, he moved from Nixa to Springfield Catholic, and kind of hung around and talked a little bit afterwards. He said, "Guy, you got to start putting up scores. Can't get them anywhere." And so hopefully we've gotten about 90% of the scores up over the last 2 days, and so we're trying, but we couldn't do it without coaches and fans and moms and dads sending them to us.
Yep, awesome. Well, I like I said, I appreciate it. We've got a good media in our area, so promoting our athletes, so we really appreciate it. Well, thank you.
You bet. Have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bowling Green head basketball coach Craig Smith, they're kind enough to join us. They've got coming up, they're at Louisiana they've got Highland at home, and then at Mark Twain. And they're also from up in that northeast part of the state of Missouri. So we've traveled around a little bit. Basically we've been in the northeast. Well, we had Coach Kevin Smith on from Forsyth down in the southwest or south central part of the state. Getting back to the scores, here brought to you by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsoring our athletes of the week. And tournaments on the women's side, tournament scores from last night at Hermitage tournament, Humansville over Climax Springs 42-41. And Monroe City tournament, it was Palmyra over Marion County 75-25. And we will hopefully get to visit with Palmyra head coach Timothy Southers here coming up in the second part of the show. And right now, we're going to step away, take a time. Actually, we're not going to take a timeout. We've got a coach calling in, and we welcome to the show now the head coach for Norwood High School, Shane Chadwell. Coach Chadwell, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Coach, off to a 5-0 season at this point. It's been a long time since you've lost a game, but
It's been a while.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the start. You win the Dennis Cornish Classic. You get Plato in week 1, but tell us about the start of your season.
Yeah, we played Plato. We got a whole new group of guys, a lot of young guys coming in, some guys that contributed on our last year's team, just different roles. But we played Plato early, again, trying to find out who we were. But again, got an overtime win there. And then we went over to the Lockwood tournament and played some people we didn't see. That's kind of what we were looking for. Played Osceola and Neosho JV to get us to the championship game. And played Seneca. They just come off of a big football run. So they were a little bit, football players, not in basketball mode yet, but we was able to get the win there. And then we went over to halfway the other night and got a good win.
Coach, as you come into this season with the changes, in Mission with regards to number of games played and tournaments, did your schedule change at all? You're coming off of a tremendous season a year ago. Were there teams dropping you and you were looking for games?
Yeah, last year we had some teams, COVID kind of hit some teams. And when you're good, they don't look to make up those games in later on their schedule. So we went out, tried to find some people, picked up Webb City, picked up Stratford, and we kept Stratford on the schedule. I know they're going to be really good this year, but I think our kids are competitive, and again, we're young, but I think down the road we kind of was trying to beef up our schedule a little bit. So yeah, we kept some of those guys on that was willing to play us. We had to travel quite a bit. When you're good, they also don't want to come to your place. So we was on the road a lot, but we kept Stratford on the schedule. We were still in the Mountain Grove tournament, which is a really tough tournament. And then the Kabul Holiday tournament, but the Dennis Cornish Classic was just something new for us, and so that was kind of the biggest change for our schedule.
Now going here into Christmas, of course you're at Sparta, then you got Kabul at Bakersfield, then you got the Kabul Holiday tournament. Tell us a little bit about that. They may be seeding that here pretty shortly. Yeah, we see that next Wednesday, and kind of Friday night's a big test for us. Sparta's got a really good club. We got 2 big kids inside, and they're off to a good start. So, that kind of thing, that's going to be kind of determines where we stand. I think if we could win, we could be in the top, top 4 teams, 5 teams. If we lose, I think that kind of puts us at, 4 through 8. But again, I think we're in the top half of the bracket. The kids have really bought in. We're a much more balanced team this year. We're still down 1 player. He's not going to come back to January 1st. He had an injury. But it's a tough tournament, but I do feel like, the way the kids are playing, that we could be in the top half of that bracket. And tell the listeners just a little bit about what you lost to graduation and who's going to have to step up and replace that. Yeah. We, Garrett DeVault, which is a 2-time All-State player. He was one of the best, I think, one of the better players in the area. Class 2 player of the year. Again, just a kid averaging 23 points a game. So again, you're replacing that, and everything ran through him. I lost Justin Chadwell, big kid inside. Jacob Sinning, which is another big kid for us. Max McGowan handled the point for us. And let me think here. All my seniors. We had 9 seniors. Some of those guys were role guys, but you put me on the spot. I kind of closed that chapter, so some of those guys have already graduated. But we returned a lot of guys. Gavin McGraw. He was a starter for us last year, and then we had Peyton McDarris that come off the bench for us, and Noah Drake. And Noah's actually had an injury, and so he won't be back. But Gavin stepped up. He's our only senior that's returning as far as a starter. We got Dylan Bennett that comes off the bench for us. But all these guys are taking on new roles. We're a much more balanced team this year. We've had 3 or 4 different guys lead us in scoring. So again, we kind of finding out who we are. But I think on any given night, we could see a leading score. And just a much more balanced team this year. Very good. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time and here in our this is our inaugural Missouri Sports Network High School Basketball Game Day scoreboard show for basketball. So we appreciate you being part of it, and hopefully we'll get to visit down the road. Hey, I appreciate you having me on. You bet. Thanks, Coach. Have a great day. Evening. You too. Coach Shane Chadwell, head coach of Norwood. 9 seniors. Hard to imagine trying to place 9 seniors, but a state championship team a year ago, and they are off to another tremendous start. I was trying to look up the last time that they did lose a game, going back to last year on their schedule. And Misha is just not wanting to work with me, but I do have it. Their last loss of the year was to Thayer on December 30th in the Kabul Holiday Tournament Championship. So, and Thayer finished 29-2 a year ago, and that was their only loss of last year. So, tremendous job there at Norwood. Let's see who besides Thayer beat them, because they 31-1 a year ago, 24-5 the year previous to that, and they lost in the state semifinal game 2 years ago to Campbell, 54-42. So strung together some tremendous seasons there at Norwood, and greatly appreciate Coach Chadwell being part of the show. And we will now take a quick timeout. We'll come back and we will hear from the Laquey girls basketball coach, Michael Parton, after these words from the Missouri Sports Network.
The qualities in a truck that are most important are reliability, just really great function.
Having a truck is pretty much a necessity to getting to most of these locations. Oftentimes it's narrow, steep, loose, rough, rocky roads.
Having a truck is essential to every part of what we do, from picking up material for the home to delivering the home.
Always carrying something, pulling something.
It's something that we use every single day here.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Not only is Country Financial our insurance, but they treated us like family.
Relationships are the single most important piece of the puzzle. We always ask this question: what is the right thing to do?
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad that you have tuned in, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. And I know a lot of you are on your way home, wherever you've led us in your life tonight. We greatly appreciate it. And we are joined now by Laquey head girls basketball coach Michael Parton. And Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Coach, you're off to a 4-1 start coming out of that Lebanon Jamboree back on the 17th. You win it versus Tuscumbia. Then you take a consolation in the Frisco League tournament. Talk to us a little bit about your start.
Yeah, so we've really came out of the gates fairly strong. We got that Tuscumbia win. We had a nice lead on Crocker, just couldn't put that one away in the first round of the Frisco League tournament. and then ended up winning the backside of it in that consolation, beating a really nice Plato team, beating a Richland team. It's been about a decade since Laquey's been able to beat. So pretty happy with that one. And then we got a win coming out last night at Niangua, and we've got we got 4 more games before the Christmas break, and then we got a couple tournaments right after that.
Yeah, you're at Niangua, and then you host Vienna, and then Ewing Kaufman at 4 a.m. on the 10th, and that's probably part of that 48 hours of basketball.
Yes, it is. It's at Greenwoods, part of that 48 hours. I'm hoping it'll be a nice, fun experience for the girls, playing up a class against a charter school out of Kansas City we don't know much about, so it'll be a pretty interesting game.
Well, tell us about that. How did that come about? Did they just reach out to you?
Well, no, I actually reached out to them. I've been wanting to get in the Norm Stewart Classic. I got admin approval that'd be okay if I could get us in it, and we had a game to fill. I reached out, and they said they didn't have any in the Classic, but they did the 48 hours of basketball. I thought that'd be just as fun, so we're going to go and give that one a shot.
So how do you plan to play at 4 a.m.? You guys?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you what we're going to try to do, and I'll let you know later if it works. But we're going to try to we got that game tomorrow night at home against Vienna. We're going to come in early and practice on Friday morning after that game. And then we're heading up to Springfield for some food, and we're gonna try to be at our hotel 6:30ish, and then try to be in the rooms by 8 and see if we can get a few hours of sleep. So that's my best bet right now, and I'll have no idea how it's gonna pan out. I've never played at 4 a.m. before, never had to get a team ready to play that early, but looking forward to it.
The challenges, and that's probably the biggest part of it, or the most exciting thing is the challenge of playing at 4 a.m. But Coach, and again, we're visiting with Laquey head girls basketball coach Michael Parton. Coach, tell us a little bit about your team, what you lost last year due to graduation, what you've got coming back, and what roles the kids are filling.
So we've been I don't know if we call it fortunate. We haven't lost a lot to graduation in the last 2 years. We lost 2 players in the last 2 years to graduation. So a lot of these girls this year were pretty junior strong, and they've been playing a lot of varsity basketball since they were freshmen. So I think that's a big reason for success. They've been able to grow up a little bit. We've got one senior this year playing, she starts, she plays a lot of minutes. And then other than that, we're all underclassmen. So, they've really been able to step up. They've really learned the system. They love getting after it on the defensive side, and that's been really our strength this whole the last 3 years. Our wins have come because of defense and how hard they play.
I imagine, being part of that Frisco League, that really prepares you for the postseason. That Frisco League is, you mentioned Crocker. They're 5-1 on the season. You got a very good Licking team in that conference. Kind of handicap that conference a little bit.
Man, it is a tough one. This year, I think any given night, especially the 2 through 8, anyone can beat anyone. Stoutland's very good this year, very good. They took second in that tournament just last week. Newburgh is a really good team as well coming out. Crocker, a lot of people thought Crocker lost too much to be competitive, and they took third in it. And really, maybe they don't run through Licking in the second round. They might have been higher finish as well. Plato gave us everything we wanted in that consolation. They were a tough team. We were able to edge them out. Iberia and Richland, both very talented as well. There's no easy nights in the Frisco League, that's for sure. And I think it's gotten closer. Like there was for a couple years. Richland and Newburgh was quite a bit better than the other teams, and Licking's always up there, of course. But now it's kind of gotten more competitive to where I think anyone can sneak up on anybody now.
Very good. And going from last couple of years with the changes with Misha, with regards to how many games you can play in tournaments, has your schedule changed at all?
We've done a little bit of schedule changing. We try to fill it out get as many games as we can. Last year we had that challenge because we got seeded in the Frisco League tournament. We ended up drawing 4 games, so it was hard to fill that one because I didn't really know how many games to schedule with the possibility of playing 4 in the Frisco League. That's always something we got to be aware of. And then, but we're looking at a possibility of 4 tournaments next year. Just really trying to get ready to compete come district time. I think the more tournaments we play, the more we get used to that format, the better off we'd be for it. So we got 3 tournaments now. We played 2 tournaments last year. Played 3 tournaments the year before that. It was just a matter of finding the right tournaments to fit us.
Coach, real quickly here, talk about that district. You're in Class 2, District 9. You've got Crocker and Newburgh, and Stoutland. I mean, a lot of teams in your conference.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams there. We have a solid chance to play Crocker 4 times this year, which is, as good as they are. That'll be a challenge for us each and every time. We, the district is almost all the Class 2 Frisco League schools, with the exception of Plato. And then you throw Vienna into that mix, which Vienna just beat Stoutland Monday night. So Vienna's pretty good too. It's going to be a fight all the way through district, no matter where you get seated. I'm feeling.
Very good. Well, Coach, and again, this is Coach Michael Parton. He's the head coach for Laquey head girls basketball. We appreciate you being on the show tonight. This is our inaugural show for the scoreboard show here at the Missouri Sports Network. I did a lot of scoreboard shows when I was with ESPN, probably 300 or 400, or maybe 3,000 or 4,000. But first time I've been able to host one here on the Missouri Sports Network, and I greatly appreciate you being part of it.
All right. Well, we really appreciate the coverage. Thanks for reaching out.
Hey, you bet. Coach, have a great evening.
You too, sir.
You bet. Coach Michael Parton there, kind enough to step in and join us for a few minutes here. We will take another quick timeout here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com. You go to scoreboardguy.net, MissouriSportsNetwork.com. You can see all the scores. Only place you're going to see as many scores. Not many people have more than us. We'll be back after this.
The qualities in a truck that are most important are reliability, just really great function.
Having a truck is pretty much a necessity to getting to most of these locations. Oftentimes it's narrow, steep, loose, rough, rocky roads.
Having a truck is essential to every part of what we do, from picking up material for the home to delivering the home.
Always carrying something, pulling something.
It's something that we use every single day here.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Not only is Country Financial our insurance, but they treated us like family.
Relationships are the single most important piece of the puzzle. We always ask this question: what is the right thing to do?
And we welcome everyone back here to the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day. And we welcome to the show Palmyra head girls basketball coach Timothy Southers. Coach Southers, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be a part of this show.
Thank you, Coach. And did I pronounce the name correctly?
Yes, you did. You did a great job with that.
Coach,
now I have to be honest with you. Now, only person that calls me Timmy though is my mom. So you're one with her by calling me Timmy.
Oh, I said Timothy. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't know. I would have never done that.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Coach, thanks for being part of the show tonight. You guys are off to it says 2-0, but you're coming out of that Monroe Classic, Monroe City Varsity basketball tournament. Tell us a little bit about your season up to this point.
Well, it's been a great start to the season. We are actually 4-0 right now. We had a good win on the road against Canton. We just got done defeating Marion County in the quarterfinals of the Monroe City tournament, and we play tomorrow night against Highland in the semifinals. So we're really excited about the start of our season. It's been great. The girls have been playing tremendously, and we've been able to win different ways. We've been able to win from start to finish. We've been able to come back in games on the road like we did against Canton. So it's been a real good start to the season and something that we can definitely build upon.
And Coach, tell us a little bit about your team. What you had to replace due to graduation. Who are some of the young ladies who are stepping up and filling some roles that maybe you lost to graduation a year ago?
Most definitely. So we only lost one young lady to graduation, Jansen Jewett. She's the only one we lost to graduation. So that was really good for us from that standpoint as far as the start is concerned. So we have everybody back, and we have all 5 girls at some point in time started last year, all back this year, which makes it great. They have great chemistry together. And we've got some girls who played nothing but JV last year that are stepping up this year and able to give some depth at every position. In particular, I think we start with inside with Kendra King. She's doing a tremendous job for us on the interior. She's, a double night every night for us. She's going to be scoring inside for us, but she can also step out and shoot 3, which makes it a very unique post player. I think one of the best post players in the area. We also have a Sydney Compton who plays the 3-4 for us. She's also she's kind of a slash player. She can drive the ball to the basket. She can finish on the interior. She also can step out and shoot the 3 for us as well. Both of those young ladies, King and Compton, do a great job of crashing the offensive glass and are great on the defensive glass for us as well. And both of them are averaging right around a double-double as far as points and rebounds is concerned. And then on the outside, we have Abby Red, who's our 2 guard. She does a great job for us on the outside. She's also one of our best defenders. We're really excited about her defense and what she does on the defensive end, but she also can score as well. We have Tatum White, who is our other guard or off guard. She does a great job defensively for us, and she can shoot the 3 as well as get all the way to the basket. And she's added some muscle to her, and she's finishing at the basket more as well, which we're really excited about. Then we have Claire Williams. We have 2 girls, super sophomores, and we're playing 2 juniors and a senior. And Claire is our point guard, and she does a great job for us as a sophomore who just got offered by QU, and she does an outstanding job for us from the standpoint of getting us in our offense. And she can shoot the ball, she can get all the way to the basket, and she plays tremendous defense. Other night, she had 23 points and 11 steals for us in our game against Marion County, and she just does a great job on both ends.
And Coach, for us geographically challenged people like myself, tell us a little bit about your conference. Who are the members, and kind of handicap that a little bit?
Yeah, so start with the top dog in our conference. We have South Shelby. They are the top team in our conference. They went to the Final Four last year. Did a tremendous job. I think they finished 2nd place, so they're really good for us as well. We have Monroe City, that's a part of our conference as well. Clark County is in our conference. We also have Macon, Brookfield is a part of our conference as well. So those are our teams. Centralia, another team that's in our conference as well. So those are teams that are part of our conference and part of the CCC. They do a great job. Very tough conference. Every night you got to bring your best, or you can get beat. So it's a very competitive conference.
And several of those teams are a member of that Class 3 District 6, of which you're a member.
Yes, most definitely. Besides Mark Twain in our conference, they're a part of that District 6 is District 6 Class 3, 3A. It's a tough going. I mean, last year showing, coming out of that with South Shelby, and they made it all the way to the Final Four. So that if you can get out of that district, you're gonna, I think, do some things and go very far in this season.
Now, with regards to the game you've got coming up here in the Monroe City tournament, tell us a little bit about what you're going to have to do to come out on top in your next contest.
Well, we got to be consistent. Highland's having a good season. They're 3-0 right now. They're playing very well. Coach Jackal has those girls playing extremely well. She's got a good young coaching staff, as I do, and they do a great job with those girls. Esley Bringer is just a tremendous point guard, and she does a great job of running the show for them. And they're going to do a great job of, getting up on you defensively. They play a nice 1-3-1 a zone defense that we're going to have to really attack to be well. We're going to have to crash the offensive boards well. We're going to make easy shots, create easy shots for ourselves and make easy shots. That includes layups and free throws. And we're going to have to attack them from a defensive standpoint and put them on their heels. So that's what we're going to try to do from the beginning part of the game until the end of the game. It's going to be 32 minutes of a blitz that we're going to put on them, and hopefully we come out top from there.
You bet, Coach. And I noticed you're in the River Rivalry Shootout. Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, really excited about that. This is the first year they're doing that, and so we get an opportunity to play against some teams across the river there, and Keokuk, I know, is in there, one of the teams that we may see in that as well. But I'm really excited about that and how that's going to all turn out. I think the seedings just came out for that. I think we got the second seed in that, and South Shelby is the first seed in that. So it's really excited about that. Get a chance to play somebody you don't get a chance to play all the time. Although we did see Keokuk over the summer, and they do a great job. Coach Davis is just an outstanding coach and a great man at that. And we're really excited that whoever we get a chance to play on that side of the river, we're really, really excited to have that opportunity and know it's going to be very competitive basketball.
Well, Coach, I love your enthusiasm, and one day I'd like to sit in the stands and watch you coach because, in a radio interview, you've been very enthusiastic. I would imagine on the sideline you're a sight to behold.
Yeah, well, I've been accused of being a little bit excited on the sidelines. I don't know where that comes from, but that does happen every now and then. But no, I love the game. I'm very passionate about it, and it does come out by coaching as well, for sure.
Very good. Well, Coach Southers, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and hopefully throughout the season we'll get an opportunity to visit again and talk about Palmyra.
I would love to do that. Thank you so much. Go Panthers.
You bet. Thanks, Coach.
All right. God bless you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Great interview there with Palmyra head coach Timothy and Southers. And I promise, I did not call him Timmy. I said Timothy. Maybe I stuttered, but I would have never done that. But great interview. It's always great to catch up with guys and ladies around the state that you don't have the opportunity to talk to a lot. And, that's something that, we here at the Missouri Sports Network have tried to provide throughout the season, throughout the football season. We had coaches on from the St. Louis area, the Kansas City area, Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest. And hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed it. And I still have not gotten to the boys scoreboard from a night ago. So if you care to see that, you can go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook, and you can pull up our morning update from this morning. Went over all the scores from last night, and we have one from Monday night as well. You can go to scoreboardguy.net, and you can pull up the scoreboards from this week. More than, I'm going to say probably more than 200 scores up there that we've posted this week. And it's been challenging to find the scores, but a lot of times, and coaches have been great, and fans and media have been great about making sure that they tag us, Scoreboard Guy, or at Scoreboard Guy on Twitter, or at Missouri_sports. And let us know when you've got someone that maybe scores their 1,000th point or their 1,500th point, or has a double-digit rebound, or scores 30 points, or hits 7 threes, or something like that. We're going to start promoting those in our Roll of Honor here coming up towards the end of the week as we head into the holidays. And I know the holidays are going to bring a lot of tournaments, a lot of holiday tournaments out there, because you're able to put, in cases, I know William Jewell puts on a tremendous tournament there, and they've got 32 teams. The Blue and Gold's got 32 teams. You've got a Neosho holiday tournament. You got the Kabul holiday tournament. You got Walnut Grove holiday tournament that they're actually seeding for that, actually seeded for it today, I believe. And it will start, it may start as soon as Saturday, because they've got, I believe, 32 teams on the girls' side, 16 teams on the boys' side. So it takes them a couple of weeks with one gym to be able to get that tournament completed as they go into the holidays. We're waiting right now to hear from Laquey head coach Stephen Rissler, and I'll check and see if he has reached out, and he has not reached out via Twitter. But so far, been a great show. We appreciate the coaches have been on. Mexico boys head basketball coach Darren Pappas led us off, and then it was Forsyth boys head basketball coach Kevin Smith, Bowling Green head boys coach at Craig Smith, and Norwood head coach Shane Chadwell, and Laquey coach Michael Parton, and just got to off the line here with Palmyra girls head basketball coach Timothy Southers. And waiting on Laquey head coach. We'll give him a couple more minutes here. It's only 7:07, but hopefully he will get to join us. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. We'll play a real quick clip here from Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and they sponsor our Athletes of the Week. And hey, if you've got an Athlete of the Week, send us an email. Just email at Missouri Sports Network at gmail.com. That's Missouri Sports with an S Network at gmail.com. We'll try and get them on the line and promote what your programs are doing and what your young men and women are doing throughout the state of Missouri. We'll take a real quick time out, and we'll be back after this.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective, and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back here to the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day. Presented by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Great Southern Bank, and coming to you from the Pizza Ranch studio and presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks and the Bank of Billings. We've reached out to Coach Rissler. We'll give him a few minutes here, and if he can give us a call, we'll talk about the Frisco League Tournament and Laquey Wildcats, and they're off to another tremendous season here, as Laquey is undefeated on the season, coming out of the Frisco League Championship. They beat Owensville a night ago, so they are 6-0 on the season. They've got Richland coming up, and so we'll give him just a couple of minutes here. And while we're waiting on that, we'll try and run down the boys' scoreboard from a night ago. It was Appleton City 51, Kingsville 45. Atlanta 53, Meadville 38. And speaking of Laquey, they're ranked number 5 in Class 3 in the state. Calvary Lutheran over Missouri Military 61-42. Wellsville Middletown 43. Chamois 32. Drexel over Ballard 56-16. South Iron over Ellington 81-52. And it looks like South Iron's got another good group. Back-to-back state championships. For South Iron. Thomas Jefferson over Everton, 65-35. Golden City over St. Paul, Kansas, 65-50. It was Southwest Livingston, 54. Hardin Central, 50. Higbee over Prairie Home, 66-58. Northwest Hughesville over Jamestown, 77-47. La Plata over Bevier, 58-27. Community R6 over Madison, 57-22. Mercer over Green City, 56-35. St. Paul Lutheran, 66-51 over Oric. Pierce City gets a conference win over, well, I'm not sure if that's a conference win. Pierce City over Macaulay Catholic, 41-39. Salem over by Burnham, 82-22. Wheatland defeats Climax Springs, 49-34. Bolivar over Helias, 70-55. McDonald County over Hillcrest, 64-49. Hollister over Ava, 59-36. Greenwood over New Covenant, 71-44. Mansfield over Bakersfield, 81-58. Bishop LeBlond over St. Joe Christian, 68-36. Neelyville over Campbell, 67-37. Concordia over Sweet Springs, 62-36. Licking over Stoutland, 74-46. Again, these are boys scores from last night. It was Lone Jack over Santa Fe, 53-27. Lutheran Kansas City defeats Midway, 70-46. Marionville over Billings, 43-40. Hartville over Mountain Grove, 64-39. I got a text and I thought it was from Coach Rissler, so I paused. So my apologies. Nonetheless, it was still an important text. I thought it was from Coach Rissler. Harrisburg over North Callaway, 74-58. Plattsburgh over North Platte, 66-35. Gallatin over Northland Christian, 67-39. Cassville over Purdy, 52-41. New Haven over Silex, 39-37. Verona over Sarcoxy, 74-58. Charleston defeats Cape Notre Dame, 68-41. Maplewood, Richmond Heights over Christian, 41-37. Herman defeats Lynn, 69-52. Caruthersville over Kelly, 66-62. Lathrop over Lawson, 55-45. Chillicothe defeats Lexington, 61-28. Lutheran South over Valley Park, 58-26. Trenton over Marceline, 68-48. Smithville over St. Pius X, 77-45. Steam Academy over Gateway Science, 53-45. Platte County defeats Benton, 43-42. Boonville over Hallsville, 62-57. Fort Zumwalt East over Bowling Green, 55-51. Eldon over Buffalo, 65-26. Dexter defeats Kennett, 63-46. Fulton over Hannibal, 57-36. Knob Noster over Pleasant Hill, 64-53. Mexico over Marshall, 73-32. And that's back-to-back teams. I spelled their name wrong on the website. So any teachers out there, don't correct me there. I did blow that. I'll try and fix that. Hartville over Mountain Grove, 64-39. Richmond over Oak Grove, 73-32. Rolla over St. James, 70-44. Springfield Central over Branson, 76-46. And Springfield, Jordan Epps Central has got it going on. 29-point win over Branson. Grain Valley, 60-55 over Van Horn. Jackson over Sykeston, 79-41. William Chrisman over Kearney, 41-38. Raytown over Fort Osage, 66-63. Festus over Seckman, 83-75. Marquette over Holt, 67-64. Francis Howell over Parkway Central, 53-44. Pattonville over Jennings, 56-53. Eureka over Melville, 36-25. Southern Boone over Montgomery County, 66-44. Lutheran South over Valley Park, 58-26. Afton over St. Pius X, 59-56. Valley Catholic over Perryville, 74-58. Potosi over Jefferson, 69-54. And yes, all these games took place last night. Washington over Sullivan, 48-42. Duchesne defeats Clayton, 57-51. Timberland over Fort Zumwalt North, 65-50. MICDS over Ladue, 62-59. John Burroughs defeats St. Mary's, 86-66. North County over Windsor, 62-61. North Haven over Silex, 39-37. Father Tolt defeats Fatima, 66-53. Fort Zumwalt South over Rittenauer, 66-52. Lutheran St. Charles, 41. Priory, 40. Continuing with the boys here, brought to you by Doak Propane. For all your propane needs, see the folks at Doak. Steelville over Richland, 82-25. Webb City over Lamar, 78-60. South Iron over Ellington, 81-52. Greenville over Donovan, 55-40. Pittsburgh, Kansas over Nevada, 59-51. Lebanon over Marshfield, 54-52. Southwest defeats East Newton, 48-41. Niangua over Lakeway, 79-71. Morrisville over Miller, 59-30. Milan over Brookfield, 68-42. Mexico over Marshall, 73-32. Liberty over Houston, 81-41. Norwood defeats Halfway, 70-43. Forsyth over Reed Spring, 67-38. Carl Junction defeats Aurora, 72-44. And Westran over Cairo, 65-55. Well, that's going to wrap it up here. Go to scoreboardguy.net or MissouriSportsNetwork.com. You can find all the scores, high school and college, throughout the state of Missouri. If we missed it, I always like saying if we don't have it, it didn't happen. But no, that's not the case. We cannot get everything. So we appreciate all your help here at the Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage. Special thanks to all the coaches who are part of the show tonight. I know we went a little bit long, but 7/16 here on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, 2022. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Before we sign off tonight, hey, before you put your head on your pillow, put your knees on your floor, and say a prayer for our good friend Art Haynes, who's struggling with West Nile virus. They're going to move him from a facility probably in the next week to 10 days. And we just encourage you to keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. And I know Art on occasion will have an opportunity to listen to some of the sportscasts. So Art, I love you, brother. We're praying for you, and hope everything works out, and I know it will. Tough son of a gun, Art Haynes. Well, that's it for the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day. Everybody have a great evening. God bless.